I hesitated a lot before deciding to share the story. I didn't want to give a wrong impression that making money on Amazon is easy, nor did I want a video to come off as bragging. If you follow my channel, you know that's not my style. The reason I'm sharing this particular story is to show what it's possible. If I could achieve this, believe me, you can too. You will understand the many obstacles I faced to get there. First, let me talk about my beginning. I graduated from a UK university with organic chemistry degree. After graduation, I decided to pursue a PhD in cancer research. That period was one of the most pivotal in my life because it taught me something very important. If you are determined to do something, you can achieve it. Traditional education involves going to school, studying a curriculum, and then taking an exam and pass it. But a PhD is entirely different. My professor told me once, a PhD means presenting something novel, something unique and new. You are supposed to be the most knowledgeable person on earth about that particular topic because it is your project. Others might understand the general subject, but your specific research must be unique. At first, that was very difficult for me to understand because I was used to structured studies, exams, and passing my exam. But eventually, I understood that I was entirely responsible for my project. The first thing you learn during a PhD is that there are no attendance sheets or lectures. No one is chasing you to attend any lectures. You have 3 or 4 years depending on your study. In my case, it was in chemistry, which involved lab work and then writing my thesis. The writing took 3 months. Honestly, was harder than the lab work. After completing my PhD, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was tired of lab work, and I graduated during the economic crisis around end of 2007, 2008. Most people couldn't find jobs. My colleagues struggled to find any job in our field. An opportunity came up, a job at my university, which didn't suit my qualification, but I accepted it because there weren't many jobs around. Unfortunately, that was the worst decision of my life. It was a decent paying job and I knew all the staffs and the lecturers. So what was supposed to be a 2 to 3 years job turned into 13 years. And do you know how I figured out it being 13 years? When the HR department sent me a thank you note for my service when I handed in my resignation. I hated my job from day one and I took it temporarily because it paid the bills. However, when my son Salim was born, prematurely and had to stay in intensive care for 7 months of his life, everything changed. My maternity leave ended after only 6 months and I had to go back to work. Leaving my son in the hospital and going to work was the hardest thing I ever have to do. Every day after work, exhausted, I'd go visit my son. Sometimes I was so tired that I can't go to hospital and I felt guilty. That's when I decided I need to find a source of income from home to watch my son grow. Salim was discharged from hospital with an oxygen tube. We had this oxygen tube for 2 years of his life, which meant he needed constant care. I needed to find another income source, so I started looking. The first thing I did was to tell myself that I would focus on one thing until I succeed in it. I started with eBay because I had a previous experience with eBay 10 years ago, and that's a story for another video. But I opened an eBay account and did everything to succeed there. And within a month, I reached, I think they call it power seller. I can't really remember the term, but I reached a status in eBay, which meant to be a good position. For about 3 months, I worked hard on eBay. After coming from home, I would look at my orders, contact suppliers to restock from the wholesalers. It was exhausting managing a full-time job, a sick child, and my eBay business. And also, I had a lot of orders. Even though it was a good thing, it meant I have to carry a suitcase full of orders every day to work, so use my lunchtime to post them to customer. Though it was good to have sales, the physical effort was exhausting. Also, competing on eBay was tough. Customers were demanding, sending a lot of emails and messages about every aspect of it. So I needed more than 24 hours a day to actually see any kind of growth. During that time, I started hearing about Amazon FBA, where people claim to make a lot of money easily. Obviously, I was very skeptical, but I researched it further. And I promised myself to give it everything that I have to succeed in it. So I started researching Amazon FBA. I heard about retail arbitrage, where you find discounted items in your local stores and then send them to Amazon warehouse and make a profit. So I spent my lunch breaks scanning items for deals and collecting inventory. The whole process took about a month to actually understand the whole aspect of finding the deals, doing the shipping labels, and sending it to Amazon. And eventually, after a month, I sent 4 boxes to Amazon warehouse. It was around Christmas, mostly toys. After Amazon received the goods, Amazon normally send you an email saying your goods are being checked in, your goods are being received. And after I received those emails, within a couple of hours, everything was sold out. So seeing the sales on arbitrage, I continued for a while. But the physical effort, again, was exhausting, trying to find time, to find deals, and then send them to Amazon. Also, finding more products of successful items was very challenging. So if you find 10 items in, for example, in Argos, a store in the UK, and then sell them for Amazon for £10 profit, if you go back to the same store, you won't find them again. So that was very challenging. I realized I needed more sustainable model. So I started researching private labeling, creating my brand, find a supplier in China, and arrange for production and shipping, everything through email, and sending everything to Amazon. So my first product was very unique. I actually designed it. I spent a lot of months actually designing the product. Now that I know what I know about Amazon, it's not necessarily to design a unique product. The data is there on Amazon. You can actually be successful with a lot of products. So anyway, the product was bestseller in its category in the first week. This success was exhilarating. So I spent $5,000 in this project. So I've reinvested the profit and everything that I got back into business and increased my product line. So I made a big brand, increasing the product line, and had the snowball effect. I haven't taken any money out of the business, and then 7.5 years down the line, this 5,000 turned to 8 million in sales. I'm sharing this story because I believe it can help many people like me. You might think you're too old or lack the skill. You can't learn and succeed. Many mothers like me struggle to find jobs while caring for their children. It is possible to create another income stream regardless of the obstacles. The key is to have a growth mindset. So if you have the right mindset, anything is possible.